If you're new here, then welcome for the very first time. Make sure to subscribe. I love you. I'm really grateful that you're here, and I want God to carry forward this life. It's not even me, it's God. I wanted to share this story about how when we make mistakes in the past, we get worried like, okay, because we have done something bad and wrong in the past, something bad will happen, and all of those things. So, I wanted to share the story about that. I want to give you a different perspective, but first, I want to welcome you over here, and I just want to take a moment and appreciate myself, how beautiful I look. I didn't take shower today, it was cold, but still I look really pretty. I'm super grateful for this hairband that I got for my sister's baby, but I could not courier it to her, and I'm using it. And then I was feeling really guilty that, oh my god, I'm using my sister's baby's hairband that I bought for her. But then what I realized is that that baby is also beautiful angel, and I love hairbands, so maybe that baby just wanted me to have it and keep it. But I'll make up for it for sure in life. And yeah, what else I want to share? I love you. Subscribe to my channel, and leave in the description box there are various links like my guided meditation called Heal Your Life. Super, super, super powerful. You must get it today, get it right now. Okay. Secondly, if my stories are helpful, then you can donate. Thirdly, you can also book a one-on-one session with me if you resonate with my energy, if you feel safe with my energy. You can. I would love to have you. Thirdly, I'm feeling a bit nervous, but let's begin the story with the examples of some flowers. Okay, let me introduce you to the various flowers. This is white sunflower. This is white sunflower, okay? This is pink sunflower. My mind was blown when I got to know that there are various other sunflowers. Like, I only thought that there is yellow and orange sunflower, but there are other color sunflowers also. So I am like mind blown. And then there is this very pretty white flower and very pretty yellow flower. I don't know their name, but yeah. So I got them 2 days back, and when I was putting them inside the jar, my intention was that I put 2 flowers in this jar and 2 flowers in another jar. And while unwrapping these flowers, because they came inside a newspaper, right? So when I was cutting the tape, this flower, when I was cutting the tape, I also cut its stem, and then it became really small. And then I was like, oh my god, why did I cut this flower stem like that? And I was feeling like that, and then suddenly I realized that I don't have a big container. So my initial intention was to like place one flower in like 2 flowers in one jar and 2 flowers in this. And then when I cut this one, the stem of it really small, that's when I realized that I don't have a big container. I only have small container, and in the small container the flowers would not get enough support if they have big stem already. So even if by mistake I cut the stem really short, it was not actually a mistake. It was divinely led. I was supposed to like keep it in this only. Is like the stem, if the stem would be longer, I could not put it in this jar, because the flowers wouldn't get support, the stem of it. So even though I accidentally cut the stem, and I was like super I was telling myself things like how stupid of me and all of that. But then within 2 minutes, I realized that okay, it was not actually a mistake. Like Bob Ross says, he's a very good painter, and he says that there are no mistakes, there are only happy accidents. Excuse me. There are no mistakes, there are only happy accidents. So it was just a happy accident that me cutting that stem really short, and then I was criticizing myself, oh my god. And then I realized that I don't have a big container, any other big container to put long flowers into. So even though I cut the stem short, it was actually very aligned, even though I didn't know in the moment how, but it was aligned in a bigger picture. So yeah, that's about that. Also, what I wanted to share through this story is that in the past also, there are very big mistakes I have made. Like one time I stole 500 rupees from my friend, and what else have I done? So many things, like I should be showing up on time, I didn't show up on time. I want to explain various different perspective about it. Lot of times we make mistakes, and they are real mistakes, like me stealing the money from my friend, 500 rupees, and then she was doubting on another girl. At that time I was very young in college, I was just out of my home, and I grew up in dysfunctional house, like it's very dysfunctional. Okay, the kind of things that I learned there was tragic. Okay, I grew up around my aunt, with the aunt, because my parents would live in village, so I would live with my auntie and uncle. And my parents thought that I will get good education over there with them, because they would live in big city. My uncle was in army, so that's why my parents sent me to them. And with my aunt, she would beat me up every single day. With her sons also, like her son will bully me every single day, made fun of me, she will not give me any food, and I would constantly be worried. Like she'll beat me up every single day until I was conscious, like I was in a fainted position, and very poorly, like really poorly. My self-esteem went super low when I was with her. Like it went super down, and I was living in like very tragic mode. And after that, what also happened was, because I was living with her, she had a very like she would give money to, like her sons, to go out party and have fun, even when they were little, and she would never give me. I was not even allowed to have friends. Their friends would come home and have fun. I was not even allowed to have friends, or my friends would come home, or I could go to them. No, I didn't even know how to make friends. I didn't even know how to talk. I just like had to, like, so then I developed this habit that I would just steal money and then like give it to other people, so that they just hang out with me in school. That is when I was like very little. Okay, that's how I wanted to make friends. mm, and so these are all dysfunctional patterns that I learned. No, dysfunctional pattern around money, dysfunctional pattern around friendship, human relationship, and all of those things. And I was still operating with those patterns when I went to college, and I did like steal 500 rupees from my friend. And that was really bad. I didn't feel at all nice. After 2 3 years, 3 4 years, I think, yeah, when we were done with college, 1 year after that, when I realized that, when I started to go through my spiritual awakening, did I realize that this is a very bad thing that I have done. And I was feeling super guilty, I could not sleep. even though it was done like 3-4 years back. At that time I couldn't, and then I did text my friend that hey, that was, and at that time we were not talking because she went her way, college was over, it's been a long time. She went her way, I went my way, but I texted and I did return the money also, and then she was also very nice about it. So this mistake that I've made, no, when we genuinely hurt some people, when we genuinely take advantage of somebody, when we genuinely betray a nice person, or we emotionally hurt somebody, those mistakes are real mistakes. And if you know those things, then please apologize. If you can't apologize directly to the person, then apologize to God about it. Write in your journal, ask for forgiveness, because hurting somebody, even if it is done intentionally, there is a lesson in it. Like for me, the lesson was that when I learned, I could see these toxic patterns that have been happening in my family. I could see them. I saw 11:11 right now. So when I was sitting with the guilt, and when I was going through this realization, what have I done? I should have not stole the money. And when I was going through realization, I was like, I must have learned this somewhere. Then I was led back to in my childhood what was happening. And of course, if this was happening in my childhood, that means that was a pattern that has been ancestrally happening, you know. In my childhood, or like fear that if I speak the truth, then I will be beaten up, or I will be outcasted if I accept my mistakes. Because when I stole the money, I immediately wanted to tell her, but then I was like, oh, if I tell her, then she would like really outcast me. And then I stayed quiet, and even though she was doubting some other girl, that was like super bad for me, that oh my god, the mistake that I have done, she is doubting somebody else, and I'm letting that happen. So when I realized, I saw these patterns, then I realized that these are all ancestral patterns, and if I am doing them, then I must have learnt them from somewhere. So through this mistake, I got the opportunity to clear this pattern, and of course I did apologize to her, and I did realize my mistake. And second mistake that I did was that when I was just I just came to the college, I met somebody, and that guy was like I met that person on social media, and he made me aware about the person, the another boy that I was into in my school. He told me that he was not a really nice guy, you should not think about him, he is like not a good person. And I was like very grateful that he told me. And but then when this guy who told me about the let's told me about the guy I was into, that he is cheating, when that guy was coming to meet me, like the guy who made me aware about, who exposed my alleged crush, when he was coming to meet me after 1 year of knowing each other through social media, when I looked at him, I was like, oh my god, he's short height, he's black, his complexion was black, and I judged him. I didn't even look at him like properly, and then I was so unloving and unkind, you will not believe that. I don't believe it myself. Why did I do that? And then when I was going through this realization of with this thing with the money and with my friend, at that time I was going through becoming aware of this realization also. All these things happened around when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, that time. And then when I was going through this spiritual awakening on this realization, I would be around 23, 24. So at that time this incident also came up, and I was like, how did I judge him like that? Why was I so disrespectful? How could I be so disrespectful to somebody? And I was like literally having panic attacks, that how could I do that? And then I saw 1444 in the timer. And then when I was sitting with that guilt, this sensation of guilt, I was led to the memory when I'm in my home, and I see like lot of women coming into my house with like chatting with mummy and auntie, and they would gossip about, oh, have you looked at that person, he's so short, nobody will marry him. Oh, have you looked their child, they are so black, they are so like their complexion is so dark, and all of that. And I was like a baby, and I would be listening to all those things, and I unconsciously made it mean that all these things are bad, that being short is bad, having a dark complexion is a bad thing. And then when these things are stored in my subconscious mind, I was operating from that pattern, like, okay, if I hang out with him, then nobody will like me. That nobody, meaning my parents will not like me, meaning the people in my hometown will not like me. And we do that, we subconsciously just want to be liked by our parents, the people that we grew up around, our family, our neighbors. We want to be liked by them, accepted by them, and so that we can feel safe. Because if they will just outcast us, then we will feel alone and unsafe and all of that. So when I was sitting with these kind of mistakes, I was led to much deeper causes, the root causes of the things, and I could like heal the ancestry line, all these patterns. Now I am so loving to people, I love everybody, and I like everybody. When people are making mistakes, so I'm very forgiving of them. I do call them out, and I do like make distances with them, like, hey, I'm not allowing this, all of that. But now I understand, why people do what they do. And in no way you should ever let anybody take advantage of you, be rude to you unnecessarily, or be emotionally hurt you. Even if what they are doing is coming from a very wounded place, they might not have had a good childhood or for some reason, but that does not mean you allow that behavior in your life. You are amazing, you are doing the real work, you are healing, you deserve the best. And don't ever tell you that, oh, just because I made a mistake, I deserve this, I deserve to be treated poorly. No, the reason you made a mistake because there was a deeper reason, like you, just because you were not in the right environment, it was not your mistake. If you were placed in a right environment, if you grew up in a healthy environment where you were taught how to treat people, where you were taught how to have a healthy relationship with money, where you were taught how to love everybody, where you were taught that it's okay to everybody have different shapes and bodies and complexions. You were not taught those things. You were taught like, oh my god, how bad it is to be fat, how bad it is to be short, how bad it is to be like the only way you can have money is by through some sort of corruption, by fooling other people, and all of those things. If you grew up in those kind of environments where these kind of things were being put into your mind, then of course you will operate from that in your adulthood, unless you become aware of these subconscious patterns and you heal them. You start to install different beliefs inside your mind. So some mistakes will make you aware of these patterns, and excuse me, some mistakes will make you aware of these patterns, and when you become aware of them, you change them, you teach yourself better things, and you realize, yes, it is my mistake, I made a mistake, it was bad, it was really 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 bad. And then slowly you start to forgive yourself. When compassion, you start to have compassion with yourself. This is like first kind of mistake. Second kind of mistakes are like some synchronistic mistakes that we make, wherein we accidentally may reach late somewhere, we accidentally forgot to call somebody back. When you make all these mistakes, say one thing: I'm so grateful for the magnificent outcome of these mistakes. So because I don't want to go home because of the unhealthy environment, I keep affirming to myself whenever my parents would call me back home, and I don't pick up the call, so I say like, thank you for the magnificent outcome of not receiving their call. Thank you for the magnificent outcome of this angry conversation I had with somebody. When you say this, no, even if you may think like, okay, what is happening right now is so bad. When you just say no, like, okay, thank you for the magnificent outcome of this situation, this situation turn around in your favor. I still do this to this point. I have a folder in my notes wherein anytime I would write like, oh, thank you for the magnificent outcome of not going to meet this person today. Thank you for the magnificent outcome of not keeping my words with that person today. Thank you for the magnificent outcome of reaching out to somebody who I should not have reached out to. Sometimes, I tell myself, oh, I will never talk to that person because they're so mean and so rude and so hurtful, and then I am the first person again to say hi to them for no reason at all. I don't like it, but then I tell myself like, okay, thank you for the magnificent outcome of this mistake that I made. I see 2111. And yeah, another kind of mistake is this. So sometimes we make mistakes which are like really bad mistakes, but there is a lesson in it. If you are alive, if you are here and if you are watching this, I want to assure you that God do not want to punish you. God does not want to hurt you. That's what human does. Like, okay, if you hurt me, I will hurt you. God is not a being which is there, which is like, okay, if this person hurt them, I will hurt them to teach them a lesson. When you realize that you were unconscious, there is nothing to forgive also. You realize, okay, yes, it is my mistake, but I did that mistake because I was afraid of this, because I learnt this. And sometimes when you keep making mistakes again and again and again and again, keep taking advantages of people again and again and again, or keep taking, because someone is innocent, you keep trying to hurt them, then it's really bad. Then it's really bad. And that time you need to call yourself out that this is my behavior is not right and I'm going to change it. I'm really going to change it. I'm going to get help, whatever I need to do, but I'm going to change this behavior. And that realization is a very big realization, because when you become aware of that realization now at a larger scale in the universe, that pattern that you are repeating, it's happening in the universe also at a larger scale. So that also starts to heal itself, because you are the part of this bigger universe. What's happening with you, it's also happening at larger scale with the universe. If you feel like, oh my god, I'm so lonely, then know that at large universe, in the world, people are feeling more and more lonely. So whatever you realize about yourself, that oh my god, I'm hurting people, I'm betraying people, that means that pattern is alive, and as you are healing that pattern itself is getting healed in the universal energies. So that's that. And secondly, like sometimes we make mistakes, it's okay, like aligned mistakes, and they lead to some beautiful things, like really 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 beautiful things. Like one time I didn't go to my office, like when I was working, I just couldn't go there on time, and then I got fired within 7 days. And now after like 4-5 years, I realized that was the best thing that has happened, because if I would have stayed stuck in that job, I would have become like so, oh my god, like really depressed, really sad, and I wouldn't have unleashed my creative gifts. It was only when I got fired from there, and I was in Bombay at that time. When I got fired from there and I came back to Delhi, I develop my creative gifts. I started to commit to them. So that is the really best thing that has happened. So you know in your heart, I know you know that what mistakes are genuine mistakes and you need to apologize and heal the pattern, and there are other mistakes that are like there is a divine plan behind them. Okay, so yeah, that's my intention. If you have any questions in regards to this, leave the comment down below and I will reply. Also, love on me so much, like love me so much. Subscribe to my channel. I love you. If you need a one-on-one session with me, link is down below. I have a very powerful guided meditation called Heal Your Life. Get it today. Like get it right now because it's so powerful. It will transform your life. If you have a habit of doubting yourself, if you have a habit of chronic fatigue, if you have a habit of keep repeating some habits which are not good for you, if you have low self-esteem, these my meditation is going to like bring you into deeper level of self love for yourself. Like, oh my god, like so much self love, it's going to align you to the most optimal timeline for you. So it's a must. It's a must. Just like what we need sunlight to blossom, water to blossom, we need that. Just like that, the my guided meditation Heal Your Life, you need it. Okay. And thirdly, if my story was helpful, you can donate. I love you. I'm just here to see if God wants to say anything through me. Excuse me. Stop taking advantages of other people. Stop taking advantage of other people. Stop taking advantage of other people's innocence. Like stop taking advantage of other people's innocence that is coming up for some reason. And second thing that is coming up, you know the patterns that are not serving you anymore. You know those patterns. So it's time you change them. Don't repeat them because you know that they are not serving you and they are not good for other people. The way you are behaving in your relationship with other people, like in romantic relationships, in friendships, or in business relationships, something needs to change. You know that, and if you want to heal that, get my guided meditation. It will also help you in heal those patterns. Yeah, also when people talk about bad karma is not the result of the mistake that you make. It's the result of when you become aware of your mistake and you still don't change it. You still don't choose to improve and you still keep repeating that pattern. You don't do anything to, learn something, learn a new way to go about that thing. That's when you keep seeing those patterns happen. If you make a mistake and you realize, oh my god, this is my mistake, I did it out of fear, and you genuinely apologize, that thing does not repeat itself. What you then see is a very loving people being open to you. You form genuine loving connections. Yeah. Okay, listen to this over and over again. Yeah, I love you. Subscribe.